Shalom. Call halal Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All praise, glory, and honor goes to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Coming at y'all with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem Hamashiach Yahushai. This video is an attack on Saudi Arabia by Iran, because World War III is brewing up even more close. These are the times that we are living in. Iran just blew up supplies from Saudi Arabia, which is messing with the natural resources of different nations. This is the book. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 39, verse 1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High Yahweh, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecy. So these little attacks will start a nuclear war, man. You know? And that's going to get the United States involved, and that's going to get the Russians involved. All this is documented in the scriptures. That this will come to pass, man. This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3. And it reads, For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Verse 4. But ye brethren are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief, man. So the brethren that's in the faith, man, and believe wholeheartedly in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, we not gonna be in darkness, because pursuant to the scriptures, Yahweh Shah said, I believe in the book of Matthew, that let your light shine. So we are actually shedding light on the devil and their devices, man. And we see prophecies being fulfilled, man, that this is going to come to pass. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, verse 1, and it reads, And the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen. So this is representing Gog and Magog, which is Russia and the Ukraine, man, primarily. I will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sort of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, which is modern day Iran, Ethiopia, and Libya, which is North Africa, with them, all of them with shield and helmet, and Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togomar of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. So this is World War III right here. And you see these little attacks that they're putting together. They're trying to initiate a war, man. You know, because the time of these nations ruling is coming to an abrupt end. It's coming to an end. because they didn't had their fun, man. Now it's time for the 12 tribes of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians to rule, man, in righteousness, because they have defiled and destroyed the earth. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 11, and it reads, I'm starting at 9, and it reads, "We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the sky." So, you know what I'm saying, you other nations that's here in Babylon, which is America, you know what I'm saying, you're going to be destroyed. Because a lot of y'all is in bed with Babylon. So you're going to partake of the judgment of the great whore. You know what I'm saying? Then you other nations, you different militaries, y'all going to get destroyed too, man. Pursuant to the scriptures. Because a lot of y'all is going, well, not a lot of y'all, but y'all are going to fight, y'all going to try to fight against the Lord when he come with the angels. So you are not exempt either. I'm going to jump down to 11, and it reads, "Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord Yahweh have raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes for his devices against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord Yahweh, the vengeance of his temple." Right? And that temple is Israel. That's the third temple that's being built, you know what I'm saying, right before your very eyes, man. So destruction is coming. By Hashem Mashiach Yahushua. This ain't the time for you brothers to be getting weak, man. This is not the time for you brothers to be getting weak, man. We almost in 2020, man. The years are just going past like months, man. You know what I'm saying? This is not the time for you brothers to be getting weak in this truth, man. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 9, verse 5, and it reads, "For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire." And that's what you call the ICBM missile, man. The thermonuclear missiles that's going to be shot to the ends of the earth, pursuant to the book of, I believe, Second Esdras. So this is not the time to be getting weak in the spirit, man. Continue to do this work, man, because we at the end. And I'm speaking to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, the 12 tribes of Israel. So I'm going to play this video clip, man.
It's not even been a week since the famous mustache was shaved off the face of America's foreign policy, if you know what I mean. But even without Mr. Bolton, someone else who's actually in charge of diplomacy has tweeted the U.S. will join efforts with allies to ensure Iran is held accountable for its aggression. And there's plenty of other hawks to explain how that's supposed to be done.
It is now time for the United States to put on the table an attack on Iranian oil refineries if they continue their provocations or increase nuclear enrichment.
So the sound of the drums of war is back because oil refineries in Saudi Arabia went up in flames after a hit. See this island right here? That is the Kingdom of Bahrain, as seen from space. The fire was so huge that the black of the smoke was almost just as big, as you can see right there. But who said it was Tehran? The U.S. State Department. Even though boss Mike Pompeo didn't explain how they knew the Iranians did it, I'll tell you what, the Houthi rebels who are fighting a civil war in Yemen even said it was us. But for Washington, that's just a smokescreen.
Amid all the calls for de-escalation, Iran has now launched an unprecedented attack on the world's energy supply.
The damage is indeed immense if you look at it from one side. The world's biggest black gold producer says the strike cut its crude oil supply by around a half. Donald Trump quickly called the Saudi crown prince to offer him full support. But we know just how much oil and how much cash Saudi Arabia has. Riyadh has already calmed its buyers, telling them the disaster is still not enough to disturb its black gold exports. Plus, They've been known as a Western darling in the Middle East for years, and the Saudis have been bombing the Houthi rebels in Yemen with the solid approval of the U.S. and allies. But back to Iran, the number one troublemaker in the area, through Washington's lenses, I mean. Lately, even Donald Trump has hinted he's ready to engage in diplomacy with their leadership.
Could happen. It could happen. Yeah. No problem with meeting.
The black plumes of smoke from the burning Saudi oil have probably clouded those intentions. With or without John Bolton, what to do with Iran remains the U.S. administration's toughest puzzle.
If the U.S. is able to convince its allies, like the Europeans, that Iran was indeed the country that carried out these attacks, then that could be quite serious. But there's no evidence so far that that is the case. We're only hearing from the U.S. that Iran was responsible. Obviously, the U.S. is trying to put maximum pressure on Iran, but it remains to be seen whether that will be effective. This is the first major incident the U.S. has faced since Bolton either resigned or was fired. And so we will have to watch closely and see who is driving this very isolated but aggressive response to these attacks in Saudi Arabia.